All right, all right, all right. What's happening, everybody? Got a new camera set up. Same mic, same me. Welcome to Travis's Time Machine. I think we got everything streaming right. I'm running the chat in one window today from Twitch and from YouTube so that I don't have to look on my left and my right. So I'm going to be looking for that. Welcome to another episode of the Time Machine. This show is where we come together and we play old games. I really love old games, but there's a lot of them I'm nostalgic for and haven't played in a long time. There's a lot of them that I've never played, and I'm curious if they hold up or if I would even like them now in 2020. And a couple weeks ago, we started with Super Metroid, and we're actually going to pick right back up with Super Metroid. I played it, and we played a couple hours blind. I'm new to the game. And really enjoyed it. The only thing that I didn't like was at the end of the last stream, I got massively stuck. You'll see I'm in Norfair, and I got extremely stuck at the end of the last stream, and I could not find my way out. So I'm gonna actually try and there's echo in my voice or echo in the game. It's a good thing that you said there, buddy. How you doing, AOI? Try to reduce the echo. Maybe if I come closer, there's less echo. Maybe it's just sitting way back. Why don't you tell me if this is better when I do it this way? Anyway, last time we played, I had an issue at the end of the stream where I could not find my way out of Norfair. Basically, it's the third section. In my voice, is it still happening? Let's try a couple things here. Tell me if that's better. I think that would be better. Okay, there shouldn't be any echo now. If you mean like it was like a repeat, I think I got rid of it. I'm also going to adjust my mic volume real fast. Tell me if that's better. Yes, still. Oh, buddy. Give me a quick second, AOI. Testing. You weren't lying. That's a pretty intense echo. Give me a second Okay, I made a couple adjustments. Now it works. Great. I think I know what the problem was. Tell me if it's still working. I think I know what the problem was. I had a video. You probably saw, if you saw the beginning of the stream, I had like a video, and it was like basically a TV that Zach made. It looks really cool, but it was still playing in the background of the OBS. So I'm wondering if that was causing issues. But that's a goner now, and we should be good to go. So, welcome AOI. I'm going to be looking for any, thank you for confirming. I really appreciate that. That's helpful. I would have been sitting here echoing away. So I'm going to be picking up where we left off. And I was saying, I'm loving this game so far. I think that it is, for the most part, timeless. But there's one issue that I'm having. So I fell down in this pit. It's basically the third area in the game, and this is the area where you get the super boots. And man, I'm loving this new shader I just put on. Also, I'm like learning the ins and outs of using emulators, and I've never really emulated old games before. And man, these shaders look fantastic. Anyway, So I got down in this pit. Yeah, so you looked it up. I actually looked this up too, AOI, and I gotta say, I want to wait and see how it looks now that I've got a shader turned on, because I was playing the game with no shaders. The next place that you're supposed to go is like you're in an area and a second area, and then you go in the third area, and then you can't move any further in the third area. And I looked it up, and there is a block, not the top one here, not the first one, not the second one, but the third block. You have to shoot it with a super rocket. And I'm just going to go right on ahead and say there was nothing visually indicating that that is what I needed to do next. I don't know if this is optional area. I could not for the life of me figure out how to get out of that pit or out of the pit in the next room. So that's a mark against this game. I mean, it's not awful, but just like AOI, share with me the context. Like, is there something I'm missing here that should have made that obvious? Are there any other things in this game or in this type of game that's just the way that these are? I just thought that that was kind of bizarre. I would have never known that I needed to do that. So, but all that being said, I think I'm good to go now. At the end of the last stream, we got this spacer. Is this another one of these? Okay, so I couldn't see that one either. What is the logic here? Why can I blow some things up, but I can't? That wasn't already a block, was it? I feel like I'm going absolutely mad. Like, look, there's no blocks. Tricky, man. I mean, do I just leave bombs everywhere you go in this game, just in case? That's the only thing. I'm loving the atmosphere, and it just started happening. Before I felt like you could see. Before I felt like you could see. Like, this looks like something you'd be able to blow up. And it is. Okay, this does too. Sounds like the same conclusion as I looked up where to go next. There's a second route that you could go, but that would be really optional. Okay. So yeah, I gotta be honest. I would have quite literally never done that. And I don't know if that's partially that this is a different era of game. I know back then, like, the Nintendo Power magazines were a big deal, and I feel like that was kind of a selling point for certain things that you needed the guide to do, but man, I don't know. And I tried looking it up too. It was so difficult. I would have never known, because Metal Gear Solid, I think it was the first or second Metal Gear, had a door like that. That was just like, I would have never known that I needed to do that. And I guess if I'm gonna have a show called The Time Machine, I might as well just get used to stuff like that. Like, yeah, like I'm just looking everywhere for where I need to blow anything up. So now I'm just going to be dropping bombs all the time, I guess. So there's a save point. Hosting on a couple different. It's probably a good time to say how I'm doing this. Hey. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Oh my god, this looks delicious. I have the best wife in the world. Oh my god. Thank you. I love you. Marry up. If I could give you any advice, marry up. My wife made me a sandwich with chips and yogurt and like a little cruise ship Diet Coke. Wow. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna be snacking for sure here in a minute. Um, what was I saying? So I did read. I didn't want to read too much of the guide that I was looking at, but I did read that after I got through the door, there would be a save point, which is here. This is a save room, so I don't think there's anything I need to do in here. But it's my impression that there's a boss soon after, so. Oh yeah, I was gonna pull up on Twitch and make sure on my Twitch, if anybody's commenting on where I'm hosting, I can see it. Let's check that out. Let's see here. Oh, we're good. Has Dweeba already talked to you about the Tony Hawk announcement? We were texting about that earlier, and it actually got quite scandalous. So, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was one of my first games on the Nintendo 64, so I'm all about it. I mean, remake that game. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm there, day one. That sounds like a blast. I'm curious if it'll be... Okay, here we go. I gotta drop in this pit. Okay. I'm all about it. That is 100% my thing. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, you know, I mean, it's fine. That's cool. I didn't play that one. I hear that it has a lot of fans as well. There's something special to me about... Ooh, that's quite the thing to mention. There's something special to me about 2, just like the Guerrilla Radio and the hangar warehouse and the... Oh, can you... Oh, you can roll from there. You can't roll. There we go. I took a lot of health damage. Thug 1 was my favorite skater game of all time. Doomsday Danny. What's up, Danny? Yes, that's what I was getting ready to say. Tony Hawk 1, Pro Skater 1, never played it. I mean, I dabble with it a little bit after I played 2, but 2's awesome. 3, I've heard is great, never played it. 4, I bought a PS4 or a PS2 just to play 4 a couple years ago. Well, not just for 4, but I had a copy of 4 that was given to me, and I wanted to check it out, but I didn't own a PS2, so I actually bought a PS2 just to play it. Open that eye. So I bought a PS2 just to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, and I didn't like it that much. Okay, but then Thug. So Tony Hawk Underground 1, that game's awesome, man. Like that one and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 are like my childhood. I love those two. You know, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was my childhood years, and then Thug 1 was like my teenage years. That mouth. That mouth. Open up. Ah. Go ahead, run away. See. Let's do like a Demon Souls boss. That mouth. Oh, he's closing ground on me. Oh God, this guy has quite the moves here. I just love Tony Hawk Underground. It was like Jackass meets, you know, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and it had a great little story with all the goofy friends you have, or I don't know what that kid's name was, but the kid that you grow up with, and he's a prick when you get older and tries to betray you. And, but why our group chat got scandalous? I got to the game audio again. My ears are. Is he ever gonna open that mouth again? Audio needs to go down. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do this. Find the Metroid larva again? Yeah. Let's keep playing. No reason to start over. Anyway, so the reason why our group chat got really crazy was in the midst of this game getting announced, and we're all reminiscing about Tony Hawk and talking about what we like, what we don't like. Zach Pike hops in the chat and just goes, yeah, Tony Hawk Tony Hawk, he ranks all the games and he puts basically Tony Hawk Underground in the middle and he's like, it's okay. And like, I'm like, he's like Tony Hawk Tony Hawk Underground 2 is better than 1. And I was just like why would you say that game's no good? And he said it didn't age very well in his opinion. He told me I should go back and play it again. I'm not remembering. So maybe that will be a very soon installment of this show is revisiting Underground 1, especially Doomsday Danny. That's one that you're digging. Is there any way to get up and over all this nonsense? This is crazy. I'm just going to blitz on through. I'm taking so much damage. Okay. I guess you just got to blitz right through all that. So yeah, I'm thinking Tony Hawk Underground is going to be installment of this show. Man, this place sucks. All right. Mouth up again. Block of his hand. I cannot for the life of me. Yeah, this boss is weird. Everything blocks my freaking attack. Got a PS2 the other day so I can play Thug 1 and a few wrestling games that I love to play, plus a lot more stuff to play. Those old PS2 wrestling games can be a blast. I'm not even like huge into wrestling, but I always had a lot of fun with those. I'm having a lot of trouble with this boss right now. There's Rocket. Wow. Man, frick this fat, so this is... All right. My wife brought me the best plate of food. I'm so pumped. Buying a PS2 just for Tony Hawk Underground is not a bad deal. I get a PS2 for like $20 nowadays. You said AOI said what? No. What? Or what does he want to play? I loved in the day. All right, I could go for figuring out this boss. I'm having a hard time here. I feel like his attacks are extremely difficult to dodge, and that just might be the game ramping up difficulty a bit. I mean, for God's sake, I should be going in with around 10 rockets. Alright, here's what needs to happen in this next room. I need to switch to my super rocket. After I kill this guy. This guy. Okay. I should sprint through all this, I think. There we go. That's the move. I gotta get better. Just your voice gets louder and quieter. Is it better now? Oh, I gotta kill the enemies in this room to get out of here. Sorry about the technical difficulties here today. That should be better. I think I undid whatever it was that I did. I turned the music down just a little bit because it was loud, but for the game audio. Ah, okay. Man, if it feels like it's too difficult, there's probably a reason why in this game. Charge up. Oh, I'm about to get a... Man, this like turkey sandwich is spicy. Good. Missile reload completed. Okay. So that's part of why I was having the issues I was having. Voice audio should be better now, I'm thinking. Okay, let's get through this room, losing as little of my health as possible. Jesus. Oh my god, man. This... Alright. But you... hold on, I'll have to read that in a second. Alright. Guys, I can do this, right? Losing all my friggin' rockets. Okay. Okay, what's going on? He's got the lower part. Okay, so I gotta jump between these plates, I think. I can't just stand. Shoot those things? Okay. Okay, I can shoot the other things. That is very informative. Man, when he knocks you down, it is something. So there's no rush, I'm getting the sense. Come back down here, shoot the little boomerangs. So the real concern is just the big guys. Open that mouth, big boy. Open it. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. Come on. Am I missing something here? How do I make him open his mouth? Do I gotta shoot him in the freaking face? Ah, you gotta shoot him in the face. Okay. Alright. This would be a lot easier if I didn't. Okay, shoot him in the face. Shoot him in the face. Ah. In that hand. Got a mad stiff arm. I cannot switch between my freaking Alright, I can't switch back and forth. Some energy, come on. Eyes. Awesome. Awesome. Yikes. Some health. Um, hate the health, go for all the health. Okay, I got enough. I fall down my health probably wasn't worth it. That mouth. Ah, frick. Going for it. It's probably not worth it to go for that health sometimes. It's over the spikes. Eh. I hate to play the game so cowardly, but this boss kind of rewards it. Wrong frickin'. Dang it. Come on. Chad, I'm sorry I am ignoring you, but I am trying to be in the zone. Oh, I'm out of rockets. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this is gonna be bad. Rocket, please. I'm not convinced I've even done enough damage for that to matter, though. I'm not getting any rockets. Alright. I feel like this is a washed run. Oh, you can stand on those. Not great about this run. I feel like it's only going to give you rockets if you have so much energy, otherwise it's going to prioritize giving you health. I don't know if I'm doing damage. This must be painful for you guys that play this game. Come on, man. No damage. I don't know what to do if it's not going to give me any rockets. Maybe just take less hits and then... Oh, wait. Can I charge up my... Oh, okay. God, I'm so stupid. Of course. Chat's probably been saying that for the past 10 minutes. Yeah, that's tricky. God, man, I cannot believe I made it out of that alive. I thought that was I was pure I was purely embracing just using that as a learning run. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Did you watch Jacob's Super Mario World stream? What have I got here? I did not see. Was he using Varia suit? Okay, cool. So I can go in the fire now, I bet. He uses save states. No, I didn't watch his stream, but I'm not surprised, man. That game looks tricky, and Jacob, he has many great qualities. Patience is not one of them. And I am not surprised to hear that he's using save states. There's nothing wrong with that. It says on here you were playing Final Fantasy. Just a heads up. Oh, on my stream or on that's crazy because I updated it. Let's check that out real fast. What does it say when I go to Dweebo Twitch? And then charge shot, charge it up, homie. Finally. Okay, next time when I'm fighting and it feels hopeless, I will look that up. Okay, so the reason it says that it's playing Final Fantasy is because I'm on Zach's Twitch, and when I went on Restream to set the game to something, Super Metroid wasn't an option on Restream, so it's just pulling whatever he played last. And I do not know how to make that not happen because it's on his thing. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, sorry. That I'm sure that was extremely frustrating, guys. That I was not charging. It's one of those things I forgot that I got. I was so focused on the 3-shot laser. Got that charge going, but we're good now. We're good. We're making it on through. That was probably. It's tough because I wasn't really playing it properly, but I would say that was probably my least favorite of the bosses so far. I wouldn't say that was a bad boss. I liked that it was more platforming focused than maybe some of the other ones where you're just kind of in a room. I think there was one that we played earlier that had some light platforming elements, but that one, there were 2 platforms you could really do damage from. But the spikes were extremely prohibitive on that one. The audio still goes places. It gets louder than quieter when you talk and doesn't stay at the same level. Huh. Let's see here. Hey, well, I appreciate the feedback. Let's see here. Testing. I genuinely don't know. I've never had this issue before, so I'm going to put the mic right in front of me. Something I did for a minute was I moved it off to the side. I'm going to keep it right here. And if it continues, I might start Googling. But now, you said it's getting louder and quieter. Let me know it's not actually like doing the big echo thing anymore, I hope. That was like disastrous. That was really bad. So now that I've got the Varia suit, I can go back out of this little stupid block area that I would have never known. Let's go over here. Oh, I haven't been in here yet. Oh, come on. These stupid things. Just grab onto me, guys. Everybody hop on for a ride. No echo. It's not so bad with the louder and quieter. Just some words disappear. Okay. So that makes me think that there is some kind of a gate on the audio. Sorry, guys. I got a little bit of this sandwich. Has like a cayenne pepper on it. I just wiped my eyes. That was the worst possible thing I could have done. So TBD on that. Yeah, AOI, that makes me think that there's some kind of an audio gate. And it's just knocking out certain words. So I feel like when I'm further away from my mic, it's missing a word or two. It's not hitting the threshold. There might be a thing I can turn off. Okay, that gives me at least something to. Yeah. I'm almost certain that's what it is. So that gives me something I can look into the settings for the future. But for the purposes of this stream, I will stay right here. So, we were talking a little bit about Tony Hawk earlier. We were talking a little bit about just PS2 games in general. I didn't know if Doomsday Danny ever said what he was wanting to play or not. I can say, though, at least for this show, and I was going to say, sorry about last week. So I do want to go ahead and give an explanation about last week. Last week, there was supposed to be an episode of this show. What do I need to do here? Oh, let's do that. Okay. Yep. The infamous elevator room. So last week, I was supposed to do an episode of this show. It's supposed to be every Tuesday at 7. And that's my one job for this channel, is to make sure that I do an episode of this show every time. I keep looking over here because my camera used to be over here. My camera's here, though. That's like my one job, pretty much, is to make sure that I do an episode every week. And I mean, there's really no excuses. My apologies that I had one on the agenda. And then if you were following the Twitter, you probably saw I pushed it back to 8, and then I pushed it back to 9, and then I canceled it. And then I'd even talked a little bit about maybe doing it Saturday. But really, you know, my apologies. You know, for you guys, we always have a few people that watch every single time we go live. So I'm sorry for that. And I will do better in the future. But the reason why I ended up canceling was last week was one of the busiest weeks, I would say, professionally for me that I've had in a long time. It was tough, not in a bad way. I actually, I think this is one of the rooms I couldn't go in before. I actually got a promotion last week. But in all of that, I had a lot going on last week. Okay, this is not the room I think I want to be in. 'Cause if I remember correctly, you run through all these little guys and then they like give you a thing you can't get past. But I was really busy, and Tuesday I was pushing it back. Because I had some stuff I was taking care of. And then it ultimately didn't happen. And then I was like, well, I'll do it Saturday. And then that didn't happen. And so I just made the decision on the weekend. I was like, I didn't make it happen this week. I'll make it happen next week. And that's what I'll do in the future. So keep tuning in here. I'll be here every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. But it did give me a chance to kind of think about the show a little bit, because we've done now, this is the third episode we've done. This is a room I think I can go in. Yes, so this is the Varia suit lets me go in this area. What I'm thinking I'm going to do with this show, because I mean, I didn't know at all what I was going to do, and I'm open to feedback and what you guys are interested in seeing. But I've kind of struggled a little bit with. I want to keep the show fresh. I want to play new games, or new old games. I don't want to play the same game every week for a long time. But at the same time, one of the things that is difficult for me is I'm a completionist. So when I start something, I like to finish it. And I immediately realized after doing this show for 2 weeks, and this is part of kind of like why it was tough to figure out what to do for the next episode. I immediately realized, well, I'm trying to play, many different games, but if I play a new game every Tuesday, after a month, that is 5 games that I've started and not beaten. And after, 2 months, that's 10, 8 to 10 games. And after 3 months, that's 15. And after a year, that's going to be, 52 games that I started and didn't beat, likely the majority of them. So I can't go in the lava, I bet, right? That was probably a lava suit later. But what I decided is I think the way I'm going to do it is this. So the show, I'm going to play old games. Like this one is an old game I've never played before. And then I'll do other things like Morrowind that one time where I play something that I have played before. And the ones that I have played before, they'll be one-offs likely, just kind of revisiting. The ones that I haven't played before, if I'm digging it, I might, play it a second episode, like this one is getting a part 2. But other than that, I'm probably not going to continue for too long. I might do 3-4 episodes. Like this is a game we can beat in 2 or 3 episodes. But I probably, if it's like a longer game, like an RPG, I probably will not play all the way through the game unless we just have a great response. There's a lot of people watching, a lot of people interested. But if I'm playing through something and it starts getting stale, I'll pivot off of it and I will just beat it in my own time. So I'm going to do a mix. I'm going to do some of sticking with the same game. I'll kind of let the crowd, kind of tell me what to do, and go off of what I'm feeling also. But I'm not envisioning playing. Ooh, this is bad. I'm not envisioning playing too many larger, long-form games. Like if I were to try out a Final Fantasy game that I never played or that I wanted to revisit or something like that, I don't think I would want this show to be a 2-hour weekly stream of a 50-hour game or anything like that. So, what I may end up doing, I'm taking a beating in this room. Holy crap. Okay. Sounds good. Oh, sounds good about the show. Awesome. I just took an absolute beating. I'm pretty sure I saved after that boss. Yeah, I did. Wait a minute. Did I save after that boss? Oh yeah, I got the Varia suit. I just got so worried. What I will probably do though is, and this is something I talked to Zach about, is, and I'm not committing to doing this even regularly or often, but I will announce if I'm going to do this. For a game like this, this is one that I probably won't beat on this stream tonight. I might beat like 2, 3, 4 bosses. But what I'll probably do is I'll probably start using every now and then a Saturday as like a, marathon. Like, hey, this is a game that we've been playing a couple episodes. I think that we could beat it if we just gave it some dedicated time and just do a casual stream on Saturdays to wrap games up if it's something I really want to do. So that's maybe what I'll do with this game. We'll see how far we get, and then I might peek at like a walkthrough and see how far I actually got afterwards. But yeah, I'm excited for this show. I'm excited for the games I can play. I'm really actually strongly thinking that Tony Hawk Underground for the next one sounds really fun. But I'm open to multiple options, and I actually might put up a poll on the Dweebo channel. So if you have any recommendations for the poll, let us know. I have to stop rubbing my eye with that pepper. Holy crap. This game is like hard enough as it is. But having like a searing heat pain in your eye is just above and beyond. Okay. Yeah, Super Metroid should be beatable on stream, not as long as Dweebo's Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, but from my understanding, he's been streaming almost all of that, which is pretty freaking impressive, man. Yeah, AOI. I think that you're really into Final Fantasy Remake. I beat it this weekend. That was the other thing was I was so engrossed with that game. It was hard to pull me away from um, anything to do from that game to do anything. It was awesome. I don't want to get too much into spoilers because I don't know who's watching, but I really, really, really like the ending. Zach and I are gonna do a full review. I'd say probably here next week we'll probably film it. We didn't pick an exact day yet, but expect a full review for Final Fantasy. We may even meet up in person and film that review because that's how great that game is and how much I want to talk about it that I pretty much don't really care. You're 100%, or you are right. I 100% of the game. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, okay. This is the room where I just got absolutely demolished. So, okay, so I saw the lava rising and I panicked when really it doesn't go up all the way. It just goes up and down. I'm not a big like 100%ing kind of guy. I just typically don't do that. It's not how I play games. I get overwhelmed with the thought. This game, like when I finished it, I was sitting there looking at like what I have to do to 100% it, and it's not easy per se, but it looked fun. Like it looked like a good time. Hard mode, I played the first chapter. I was having a great time with it. The boss got me actually because I forgot to equip raise materia, and I knew that you couldn't use. Any. What do you call it? Any Phoenix Downs, but I just totally blanked on the fact that I needed to go ahead and equip raise, and Cloud died like in the last part of the fight. This is bad, man. This part is really hard. And yeah, but I want to collect all the weapon abilities for sure. There were weapons that I missed. I want to finish the Coliseum stuff, at least the normal mode Coliseum stuff. Sounds like the same thought that Dweebo had at the beginning. Yeah, he was thinking about 100%ing it, I know. I think he was going for hard mode, so at that point, I don't know why you wouldn't just go ahead and 100% it all the way. Yeah, it's just a special game. I don't know. I will say, once again, I'm not going to get too much into details. When I first finished it, I thought, wow, like this game, it handled everything perfectly. That was my initial thought. And I still feel that way in a lot of ways, that it's a perfect way to bring the Final Fantasy VII story back, but do it fresh and do new things and say new things. But with that being said, there are certain elements, especially when you get to the Shinra building, where I'm down for the change and I'm down how they did it. I love it. But I went back and I watched old footage of like Sephiroth in the first game and how he was kind of introduced a little bit. And then I thought back on playing Final Fantasy VII, and you do have a little bit less weight with his presence in terms of mystery. I mean, he's just kind of there from the jump. So, you know, that part, I mean, I think it's fine, but it is a little bit, it is a little bit of a different take. I mean, I think without saying anything specific, it basically treats the world like Final Fantasy VII exists already, which is just an interesting meta way to do the story. But I like it. It's really, really fun and really cool. And I'm a big fan. Missiles. Select that and press the X button. So I think this just gives me more missiles, right? Yeah, cool. So I'm pretty enthusiastic about the game, and there will be full thoughts on the battle system and the story and where they might be going on our review, TBD, but probably pretty soon. And judging by the past reviews we've done for things like Breath of the Wild, when we love a game and we review it, we go all in. We talk for a long time.
Would be cool if you 100%ed it, because I would like to hear your thoughts on the hardest fight in the game. So here I will. So I will kind of talk about that for a second. I'm like a sucker for a really good combat system. And first of all, and I'll talk about this in the review, the materia system from Final Fantasy VII OG is basically one for one brought into this game. The only difference that I see is that the all materia isn't there. The magnify materia kind of does what the all materia does. If you never played Final Fantasy VII, the materia system essentially is these little gems that you can equip to characters, and there's slots on their armor and on their weapons, and you equip these little gems, and they allow you to use magic or use abilities or have passive abilities, and they stack with each other. Ooh, that was tricky. And they stack with each other, and they're this is interesting. This is very interesting. But basically, you level the materia up and they become more efficient or better at what they do, or cast better versions of the same spells, that sort of thing. Can I break these things from down here? Okay. But what I was going to say is with hard mode, they turn items off for hard mode. So it gives you all of normal mode to use your materia, level them up, get them really efficient. And then when you enter hard mode, most of your materia is upgraded all the way, or it's upgraded 50 or 60% of the way, and they shut off items. And so that's a really cool decision to make. I do not have, I don't think, what I need for this. It's a really cool decision to make. Yeah, I don't have what I need. Keep forgetting I can sprint. Because you spend the game like leveling your materia up, you don't ever really get to use them to their fullest ability, because you've got items and they're not leveled up all the way, and your party's constantly changing. But then in hard mode, it gives you an opportunity, now that you know the fights and the special, the weaknesses of a lot of the bosses, and their special abilities, and like that the Hell House sucks people in, and that it changes what it's weak against and all this stuff. The benefit is that I don't know how to defeat that alien. The benefit is that you're now uniquely equipped to actually use all of that materia. And so I'm like duly impressed, one, with the original Final Fantasy VII, that system is so good that you basically can take it out of a turn-based game and put it into an action game, and it still works basically the same exact way. That's amazing. But then, even further than that the game itself on normal mode can be basically one game, but then you put it into hard mode, and I've already been in here. You put it into hard mode, and it's basically like a whole nother game. Like you get to strategize, around not being able to use items, but the materia can do a lot of the same things. So it's not just that the enemies are tankier, it's that the actual tactical strategy around how to play the game is different. And so I think that makes for a really cool hard mode. And AOI, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play other games, because I do have to move on to an extent, but I'm going to kind of keep it installed. I'm going to dabble around with it here and there. And when we get closer to Final Fantasy Part 2 Remake, which it would be cool to see what they actually call that game now at this point. I will probably at that point go back and finish 100%ing it and beat it on hard mode. And go ahead, you could say in the chat what the hardest boss is. If I had to guess what it is, the boss that gave me the most trouble, there were a couple of them. The Hell House was hard. In the Colosseum, the Corneo Colosseum. That one was really tricky. Surprisingly, the last boss, Fate, or I shouldn't say this out loud. The last boss, the last chapter, those bosses were tough, but they weren't impossible. I felt pretty prepared. There's a boss towards the end of the game. It's in the original, called the Buster car. I don't know what it is. It's got like 6 wheels. I'm embarrassed to say that thing killed me several times. I was having a really hard time with that boss. It's stupid. You're like on a motorcycle. It shouldn't be that hard, but I don't know what it was. I could not get the damage the way I needed to, but once I figured it out, it wasn't that bad. I really want to get the thing that can open up yellow doors. As far as other regular bosses, though, the Leviathan fight inside of the VR. The Leviathan fight inside of the VR was tricky. I might have been under leveled, but it had an attack that basically shot, electricity all over the place, like a big wave. I think it was electricity. I don't really know what it was. But basically, it would wipe my party. So I had to equip Barrett with a materia that he could cast to protect everybody. And I had to cast it like perfect timing, or else everybody would get wiped. And it almost reminded me of like a Destiny like damage or like damage soaking buff that you would get, and you have to get everybody in the party to have it at the perfect timing. Okay. Whoopsies. Okay. Wow. Oh my god. Huh. This one's tricky. Okay, so I gotta jump over and immediately down. This is like a genuine platforming challenge. Uh-oh. This is not my strong suit, boys. So I'm gonna hop down and go down, and hopefully then. Oh no. Oh my gosh. You fall really slow in this game. Wow. We both showed the second hardest fight in the last stream. Yes, the Hell House. The hardest is unlocked after you did all the fights in the Coliseum. So as you want the Coliseum either way, it fits. The hardest fight is then in the Battle Simulator, Chapter 17. You have to fight all the summons plus an extra enemy. Oh my gosh. You said too much food, yeah. No, I've got food for days over here, man. I never ate dinner today. That's the thing. Hardest part of the streaming is trying to time dinner. And if you miss it, it's a terrible feeling. So I was gonna just skip it, and then my wife brought it in and said I need to eat. So I'm taking a bite here and there, but yeah, I've got a ton of food. Okay, so I feel like I'm more prepared now for that room. I know what it is that's happening in there. And I think I could go down in this pipe. Yep. And then over. So I was digging that's where my plan was to do side quests and do main story, and that was it. But when I started doing like the Coliseum and then the Battle Simulator in Chapter 17 that you get access to the first time, I just couldn't pull myself away. Like the combat's so good. I just wanted to keep progressing. So I didn't want to stop, and that's what's got me itching to go back and still, like, I know I said I'm going to maybe try to wait until the new game comes out, which might be 3 years from now, but I don't know, that just still sounds like fun. It still sounds like fun to go back and play that old stuff, or that new stuff that comes with hard mode. So I don't know, man. It is. Oh my god. You 100% any of the Souls games. That is going to be a negative. As much as I love those games, and it depends on what you mean by 100%. I've never gotten all the trophies in one, although I think I came pretty darn close in one of them on Steam, at least. I'm not a big like trophy hunter guy. I just don't. When I get them, cool. There have been maybe one or two occasions where I saw that I had almost all of them, and it was normally like little shorter story-based games, and I'll just go ahead and do whatever I need to do to get the last one. But I don't know. I on my 360, I did that for the gamer score. I did that with Gears of War. Oh wow. I did that with the original Gears of War, and I got stuck on the last achievement. It was called Seriously. I did everything. I beat the game on hard mode, the hardest veteran mode or whatever. I beat, or Nightmare or whatever it was called. I beat, you had to get like 500 kills with each different type of gun and competitive mode or ranked mode. I did everything in Gears of War on 360. But there was a achievement called Seriously. And the Seriously achievement, I'm still trying to remember to look up my camera. I will get better at that. The Seriously achievement, what it basically was you had to get 10,000 kills in the game. And for most multiplayer games, that's a lot, but it doesn't sound like a lot because, you might get 10 in a game or 20 in a game. But with Gears of War specifically, Gears of War was a 4v4 mode where if you die, you're out. So let's say in the average game, if you're an okay player, you got a kill. That means you're getting like 1 kill per round, and it might be like best of 3. So you might get 2 or 3 kills in a game. If you're a good player, you might get 3 or 4 kills. I mean, 4 kills is astounding in a round for Gears of War. Let's say in a game of Gears of War that takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you get like 3, 4, 5, 6 kills. It would take forever to get to 10,000, especially in ranked mode. And that was kind of my problem, was as much as I played that game and I liked it and I loved it and I played it all the time with my friends and I was pretty good at it. I wasn't world class, but I was pretty good. 10,000 multiplayer ranked kills on Gears of War 1. You would have to know life that game basically for months. I mean, if you were not world class, and even if you were world class and you were getting 4 kills per match, it just was a lot. This is the boss room. Let's go back and see if that other door by any chance was a safe state. I am extremely lost down here, but I don't mind it. I feel like there should be a shortcut here because on my map there's like a dot below where I am. Yeah, holy cow indeed. So, what I was trying to say with all of that was that game put a salty taste in my mouth early on about achievements. So I built up my gamer score on my old Xbox account, and then I built it up to, it's not even a lot, but like I built it up to like 30,000, which for me was like, I was proud of it. I was a decent gamer. Every game only had like 1,000, so I built it up to 1,000. I didn't have all the money in the world, so I didn't have a ton of games. But then when I switched Xboxes, I lost my old Xbox account when I was a teenager. Was tied to my mom's email. And so my mom's email, she didn't have it anymore. And the password that like gave me access was gone. And so I had to get a new gamer tag. And so just kind of like the 1-2 punch of like the games I was getting into were they would always have 1 or 2 achievements that was just unbelievable difficult. And then that mixed with like losing the gamer tag that I was building up, I just decided subconsciously, I think at a point of like achievements don't matter. Like you're going to have a new account one day, you're going to have a new whatever one day, and you're not going to have those achievements. But I'm like the polar opposite of some other people. Like Zach Pike, I say Pike because Campbell also is on our channel sometimes. He 100%'s a lot of stuff. That's a good time to look at my map. I don't know if he does as much now, but certainly back in the day, he used to 100% a lot of things. So I hopped out. I was over here. I don't think I was supposed to hop out just yet. AOI, do you 100% a lot of games? I'd love to know the ones you have, the ones you're proud of. I think it's if you love a game, it's worth doing. I feel like with the Dark Souls games also, a lot of those games, the achievements will link back to like crafting. Man, I totally... Okay, hold on. I need to get back down in here and figure out where I was trying to go. I don't feel like I thoroughly explored down here. So this room. So a lot of times I feel like the Dark Souls games have like achievements for crafting. That is the one thing on the Dark Souls games is I'll beat all the side bosses. When I play a Dark Souls game, I beat all the bosses, I do all the side areas. But a lot of times for the trophies on those games, you have to do a bunch of crafting and finding items. Like find every single type of stone. I thought about platinuming Demon Souls, and there was like achievements or trophies for like crafting all these different types of blades and stuff, and it was just a lot. It was a whole lot of stuff that I didn't feel like was worth my time. Because in Demon Souls, you have to sit there and like hit the same lava monster like 80 times. I saw myself a lot in what you talked about. Hard to say. After the remake, try to make 100% in Final Fantasy X HD. I'm in love with 7 now, like a lot of people, and want more Final Fantasy now. Yo, I feel you. As soon as I beat Final Fantasy 7, I sat down and I rewatched those game trailers retrospectives we were talking about for Final Fantasy. And then I grabbed my Switch, which my wife bought me Final Fantasy VIII Remastered on the Switch, which I've never played. And I downloaded that after she bought it for me, and I started playing that a little bit. And then I got on Steam and I downloaded Final Fantasy XIV, which I've never played any of the MMOs. And I loaded into the screen of that. And I just was like, I just need more of this franchise. It doesn't have to be 7, although I do want to watch Advent Children. There's just something special about Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it just hit all the right notes that I just want to get back into that series, to the extent of which, and I know I said something about Tony Hawk Underground, a game that I could see might be a fun Hangouts to do. Or not Hangouts, Time Machine might be, just because we're in this spirit of Final Fantasy. I never played Final Fantasy 1. So I feel like one day I will probably try and play all the way through that one and beat it, but that could be a cool one to just, hop in with. Another thing we could do is if I could figure out a way to do like the Elgato stuff, man, that's so much easier than I was realizing. I just have to become a ball and lay there. I could do it from my Switch potentially. I've never streamed from my Switch, but I'm sure I could figure it out. Yeah, I've never played 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, or 15. I beat Final Fantasy 1 5 times. Is it short? I feel like I had the impression it's a shorter one. And yes, my wife has awesome taste. My wife, she loves Crash Bandicoot and she loves Crazy Taxi. Those are her two favorite games. And then she'll play like pattern matching games or like Picross. She likes puzzle games. But those are kind of the things she likes playing. She never really grew up playing Final Fantasy or like RPGs. But I kind of was telling her about, different games that I was interested in. And when I told her about Final Fantasy VIII, she bought it for me. So consider yourself happy. You have a lot of Final Fantasy for the future. Yeah, ain't that the truth, man? I never played one until 2016. I think I've talked about this on the channel before. In 2016, I realized that I had more games that I wanted to play than games I had played. And so I did a crazy bet where I think Zach Pike did it too. We did 52 games in 1 year. I think this room in here is a key place that I need to do so. 52 games beat 52 games in 1 year. And so for mine, I decided it was a great excuse to play some longer games and some shorter games. I played Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy V, and Final Fantasy VI back to back to back. And those were my first ones I'd ever played. And I had a great time. I really, really loved 4. I think 4 is the perfect first Final Fantasy. Yeah, and finished them. Yes, I finished all 3 of them. I finished 52 games yet, but I finished all 3 of those Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy VI was actually the 52nd game. I beat it on New Year's Day. I started January 1st, and on New Year's Day, I beat Final Fantasy, or New Year's Eve, I beat Final Fantasy VI at like 3 in the afternoon. It was dead serious. It was like I was tracking it. I wrote down the games as I started them. I cataloged somewhere, actually, my notes on the games. I wrote notes for all 52 games. But Final Fantasy IV was like the second or third game that I played that year. And then Final Fantasy VI was the very last game that I played. And then... God, I cannot find enough energy. Now, all that being said... I loved 4. Final Fantasy IV has just such a great story, such a great cast. It's my understanding that's the first game in the series that really like tied in the classes to the characters and didn't really let you customize them, but like let them really be connected to the characters that you know. I don't know how to get past this thing. There we go. Nice. But like Cecil and Kane and Sid and the little Pole and Paul and the little twins, and there was like a monk guy, I think. Final Fantasy IV, it's just the perfect first Final Fantasy to play. It introduces you to the different classes, so you get a really good... Wow. Yikes. You get a really good, solid understanding of all of the magic system in terms of the cure spells and stuff. Yeah, tell me about it. It was a terrible job. So 4 was awesome. I loved 4. I even thought it had a great story in terms of like the plot twist too. And Gomez or Golbez, I can't remember. So Final Fantasy IV, classic, fantastic game. Final Fantasy V, I almost think is just as good as 4 because of the battle system. I love the Final Fantasy V battle system. And I guess it's technically not the battle system. The battle system is pretty straightforward. It's just ATB, 4-person party. But what made it so good, and I mean, if you play these games, you know this, is the job system. The job system basically, and my understanding is the job system is also in 3, and 5 just makes it better. The game had like 20 some jobs that you could give people, like blue mage, red mage, paladin, monk, bard, and the different, oh wow, so when I died, it reset fully my progress. Okay, that's okay. 'Cause I'm rediscovering this map piece now. Actually, I should probably go back up and around. Because I don't have 25 rockets anymore. But what was I going to say? So Final Fantasy V has this awesome job system, and what makes it so unique is as you use the job, the character kind of becomes integrated with the job to the point that they learn the spells of that job, I think, or they gain proficiency from that job. And then you can take things they've learned and things that they have assigned to them and mix them together. Okay, so this is the room I don't need. So we'll go back out here. And so that game just had so much opportunity for mixing in different systems together and trying out different combinations. Like if you wanted a bard that could cast, black magic spells, you could, right? If you wanted to have, let's say, I'm trying to think of other cool combinations. You get the gist. I don't need explainers. So that was cool. And then Final Fantasy VI. This might be one to revisit for this show. This is going to be very scandalous, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I did not really dig Final Fantasy VI as much as I thought I would. And I could try to be pretty specific about my gripes. I kind of just gushed about 4. Great story, great cast, the whole 9 yards. But limited battle system in 4. It's pretty straightforward. Final Fantasy V, amazing battle system and design and the way that you can do the jobs. The story's fine. It's not bad. It's just not really plotty. It's very happy-go-lucky. It's almost like a fairy tale. I dug it. I mean, it's just passable, right? But I do remember the characters quite a bit. Final Fantasy VI. Let me see here. The thing it has going for it is the moody not cyberpunk, like steampunk kind of. Ooh, we got a little secret over here, I think. The like moody steampunk kind of atmosphere at the beginning, especially. Really cool. Dig that a lot. I think it's cool. It's the first female protagonist. I think that's cool. Other than that, though, I just didn't really like the story. It was so big and widespread, and they tried to make like every single character be the main character in a way that I just found narratively it just fell flat to me. I mean, I feel like I was constantly jumping between 1,000 different people. I never could really put my party together the way I wanted to, which was something I loved about 5 because that's like all it was. Whereas 4, they would pull people in and out, but you always had Cecil to grab. I think it was Cecil to grab onto, and he had a cool story. I feel like in 6, you're with Terra, but then in the second half, you're more with that other girl, the blonde girl. And you're like regaining your party or bringing them all back together or something like that. I mean, Kefka was cool. He's got an awesome like music theme. But I just didn't get it. I didn't get why people gushed about it the way that they did. The pixel art's beautiful. That is undeniable. I mean, if I could play a game that looks that good every single day, I mean, there's definitely that element. I don't remember if it was called the Esper system or the Magicite. It was kind of similar to Materia, where there were like these gems or these embers that you used, but instead of leveling up the Materia, and it doesn't really matter, it's similar. Instead of leveling up the Esper, the Magicite, whatever it was, the Magicite leveled you up. And so with the Materia, where it really keeps the abilities tied to the Materia and you have to equip it, the Magicite, the Magicite would impart it onto a character, which was cool. I mean, there's 9 different ways to skin a cat. It doesn't really matter. But the result was I found myself constantly trying to figure out who knows what. Like, what do they know? What do they not know? Like, do I need to put this Magicite on this person? Or, oh, it's too early to take that one off. Or, oh, it'll scale this way for this person, but this way for that person. And it just felt very convoluted. Especially, oh my God, there's parts in that game where they make you carry around 3 separate 4-person parties in a dungeon or in a battle. And what should have been really cool wound up being a tactical nightmare trying to figure out who needs what and how to, I don't know. So I know that I am in the vast minority, with that game. Part of me feels like it's one that maybe I should revisit here in another few years. Maybe I'll feel differently, but Yeah, Final Fantasy VI. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 on my rating scale at the time. Um, Probably pretty harsh. I mean, it's probably better than I'm giving it credit for with that. But I think the game has issues. Like, I think the game has legit issues. And that's just kind of how I feel. And then after that, I played 7, and I had a blast with 7. I thought 7 was similar to 4, and that it was fairly linear with some side content. You know, your characters were really kind of welded down in terms of what their weapons and stuff they could use, but then their role wasn't really like nailed down. You could really mix it up with, Barrett could learn magic, and so I think that 7 is better at everything 6 tries to do, except for maybe the pixel art, because it doesn't have pixel art. The pixel art's really cool. Am I stuck? Okay. What am I missing here? There has to be... I like your comment on 6. 6 is overrated. 3 out of 5 for 6 is more than enough. Wow. I finally met someone that's on my wavelength for that. That is really cool. Man, that's why we vibe, man. That's why we're on the same page. And I like, this all is subjective. I think it's great when you have people of differing opinions. But that is one that I welcome somebody joining my plight there. Sometimes I feel like a crazy person when I talk Final Fantasy and it always goes back to 6, and I'm always like, yeah, I mean, the world looks cool. Like, I like the steampunk aesthetic, and the Ghost Train part was kind of cool. And I do think 6 takes the best parts of 4 and the best parts of 5, waters both slightly down, and then fails kind of at this more ambitious piece that I don't really know what they were trying to do with every character being the main character. So. And you want to talk about a game with wasted party... Wow, that was a big fail. Wasted party members. Like Gao and like Mog. Like, I only remember their names because I just watched a video about it last night. But like, there are some like party members in that game that are just... Why? Like, what's the point? I don't understand. Like, I'm gonna go out in the plains and like go up to 900 different creatures and try to learn their attacks, or not. I mean, I don't know. So I've said more than enough about 6. I've talked about it more than the ones I actually liked. But yeah, that's all I played is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7 Remake. So I am very excited about 8. I actually played about 2 hours of 8 one time in the past, but it was on Steam, and the Steam version has issues. Okay, I'm going to make these jumps. The Steam version has issues. At least it did for... Man, the platforming is not good for me. 8 has a crazy theory for the ending. Fortunately, while I'm somewhat spoiled on 8, I don't really know what it even means or how it works, so I'm not really that worried about it. I feel like these kind of games, if they're executed right, they're still impactful. But 8 immediately was cool because it's almost like a Hogwarts type deal where you're in a... Do I need to sprint to that last one? What am I doing wrong? It's cool. You're like in a school and there's other people in the school and you're like doing little quests with your professor. And I always will respect Square because they had lightning in a bottle with 7 and they turned right around and just made something different. Like, they weren't worried about it at all. They weren't worried about trying to continue at any point. I mean, they kind of did once they got to 13, actually, but they've never felt like they're phoning it in. This is brutal, man. Any tips on making this jump, let me know. Have you watched 3 Angels for Charlie? The movie. You asked about Charlie's Angels? Is that like a different subtitle for it? 3 Angels for Charlie? Sure sounds like Charlie's Angels. I have not seen it. But I'm curious if you're talking about Charlie's Angels, which is what that sounds like. Okay, cool. I got the missile. All right. So I'm pretty sure earlier I jumped onto a bunch of spikes here. That is what happened. So I don't have these. Look like these little crossbars up above. Yes, Charlie Angel's my mistake. No, you're totally fine. It made me laugh because it sounds like, is that what it's called? I think you said you're in Germany. Is that what the movie's called in Germany? Three Angels for Charlie. And I think there's an original. I think there's like an old school one and then there's a newer one. So I'm curious which one you're talking about. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say I think these are like monkey bars. And I cannot cross this right now. And I don't want to die again. So I got my missiles. Yes, I just translated it to English from German. That's funny. So what did I just pick up? I picked something up just now. Correct, you need a special weapon for that. Okay. Alright, I'm ready to get to another boss, man. Which Charlie's Angels were you watching? The new one or the old ones? I will say, though, for Final Fantasy VIII, as far as that goes, I don't know if I'm getting old. I don't know if I'm just losing my mind. That game has one of the most absolutely mind-numbingly confusing systems with the junction system that I've ever seen in my life. And every time I think I'm starting to wrap my head around it, they like introduce a new wrinkle that just F's me up all over again. And I haven't played it too far yet. So, I mean, there's still time for me to pick it up and figure it out. But the junction system is extremely confusing. At least for me. I'm not supposed to jump in this lava. I'm almost... Oh, whoa. As I jump into the lava. First one. I just want to mention it because two kids play Final Fantasy VIII in that movie. No way. That's awesome, actually. That's a really cool little trivia note. That's something I need to do. I need to watch more movies, man. I don't watch. I used to love movies. I used to follow movie podcasts. I used to watch movie YouTube channels. I still do. But I used to be way more up to speed with movies that were coming out. And so how do I get up there? That's the real question. Oh, no, that's where this is. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save. All right. So I want to get to another boss really bad. Yeah, I've explored a lot down here. Like, this is not for a lack of trying. I did. I went down. I went right. Went down. Up and around. Go up and to the left. I gotta imagine. Oh, up here? Left special goodie. I'm gonna go in here. Maybe you mean in here. Special weapon is needed. No worries. AOI outside of maybe remake because it's so new. What is your favorite Final Fantasy period? If you had to recommend, I mean, I was planning on just continuing to go in order 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, we'll see about 11 and 14. I'm curious which one's your favorite. All right, I'm really struggling here. Maybe I didn't investigate everything that was over here because there were these pipes you could go down into. This felt more like a secret thing. Okay, I'm gonna go save again. Because last time I picked this up, I didn't save. Looks like I can do up to 30 now, which is awesome. I'm so stupid sometimes. I was trying to time it to jump on top of that thing. And that is not what I needed to do. Alright, let's save now that I got my rockets. Let's plot our next move. Mine will always be 10. The first girl I fall in love looked a lot like Yuna. In Japan's voting for best Final Fantasy X always has first place. So 10 is one that I'm intrigued by for something, for a reason. Final Fantasy X, from my understanding, is the one that has kind of a religious theme to it. Like a bunch of religious zealots basically go nuts, and like that's kind of the main theme of the game. And I study religion in college, and I just find the idea of doing that in Final Fantasy sounds really cool. Another reason I think it's interesting is Final Fantasy 13. Oh, this is where I came from. This is not where I want to go. This is a rough scene. No, this isn't where I came from, is it? I just lost all my freaking energy. It took me forever to build up. AOI, that's a good reason to be attached to that game. I understand that. But so the premise on that level sounds cool. It sounds really interesting. The other thing about 10 that's interesting to me is that 13 always gets such a bad rap for being linear. It's so linear. But 10 looks super linear too. Like, from my understanding, 10 doesn't have an open world. There really aren't branching paths. It's just, this is the game. Go play it. And so I'm intrigued, like why 10 gets so much love, but 13, doesn't. And it's probably because 13 is probably just not as good. But I'm excited to see that for myself and check it out. Yeah. I'll be right back. Hold on one second. Part of having an awesome wife is helping her out when she needs something. All right. Yes, you were right. Yeah, I just always thought that was pretty interesting. Was I just standing in the lava? Oh my god. There's got to be something down here that I'm missing. What's the cat's name? Cat's name is Mila. Hey, Mila. Come here. Come say hi. Cat's name is Mila. She is a very sweet cat. She meows a lot. And I work from home, actually. And so I work right here. and she'll jump right up here and like start. Yeah, Mila. Yep, Mila. Yep. And she's a very sweet cat. She's a couple years old. She's like sitting by the window. Oh man. Funny, that's the name of your niece. No way. That is funny. Yeah, when we went to adopt her, they had a name on there called Camila. And we were like, that's kind of interesting. The cat's already got a name. And it was like, well, we could keep the name, but we would probably shorten it. So that's what we did. She wants out now. Here you go. So we just kept the name and shortened it, and she's had it ever since. Okay, so I think I discovered I need to go down. But yeah, I'm excited to play 10 sometime. Looks like a blast. I also understand that's the first time they did away with the active time battle system, which is really interesting. I think that those games have such cool stories of how they came together and how they had different teams that worked together in different combinations. Really cool series. Okay, so I don't think I can go any lower. FF10 HD Remaster has one big problem. Oh, let me know what it is, because that's the version I was going to play. I'm having major issues here. I think I could use a hint. I've been stuck now for probably going on 30 minutes, and I would like to get to one more boss at least. Something about this game that I didn't anticipate is it is very, very maze-like, which I guess, I mean, I expected that, but I expected it to be a little bit more straightforward because it's older, but there's a lot of branching paths, a lot of ways you can go at any given time. I'm having trouble finding where to go next. So what is the problem with FF10 Remaster? They effed up the faces for Titus and Yuna. Holy crap, that seems like a big deal. They have no facial animations in certain scenes in the remaster. In other words, the original had better facial animations in certain scenes. That's nuts. That's very surprising. Is it a glitch, or did they just downgrade it because of reasons? I find that really, really weird. So would you say then that the definitive way to play that game would be emulating a PS2 version? Or it would be this has got me effed up. I don't know how to get out of here. Am I crazy for thinking there should be a way to get out of here? So I'm almost wondering if I should emulate the PS2 version. Don't know. Yes, exactly. PS2 version on emulator would be best. Wow. Well, I was gonna play it on the PS4. You can't go up there. What's up, Nico? How's it going, bro? Welcome to me blindly trying to play this very old game. Having a heck of a time. You will come out of the door to the right. Well, you can see where I'd get confused. It sure as heck looked like I could go in there. Man, alright, well, that suits that then. I'm just going to play Final Fantasy X on an emulator. Because I don't see the sense in playing an old game with better graphics but worse animations in terms of the faces when it's like very story based. It's a huge bummer. Huh, okay. Alright, AOI. Am I right in being stumped here and thinking that I need to go off to the right? Well, here's a way to go. What happens in here? I can't remember. Is this a dead end? Oh, Jesus. Are you kidding me? This stupid friggin' game. Oh my god, I would have never, ever... Well, I guess I did do it. This game has a thing where it makes you run in circles because you just haven't shot every wall. The Western version of Final Fantasy X for PS2 is already updated in comparison to the Japanese version. What does that mean? Does that mean I just need to sprint across that? Too late. Yep, okay. There we go. The Western version of Final Fantasy X for PS2 is already updated in comparison to the Japanese version. What? Oh, like it's already got better graphics. I got you. This could come in handy. Beta run. Oh, I'm holding the wrong freaking button. Hold on. I knew. No. Get the frick out of here. Are you kidding me? On an emulator, B is A and A is B. And I am dumb. God dang it. Gotcha. So they updated it. That's cool. Well, you've got me sold. I'm going to play that on emulator. I almost wonder... 8 looks good on the Switch because it's remastered. I was looking at gameplay of 9. I ain't gonna lie. That game looks like it would benefit from being on a CRTV or like an emulator like this. I own 9 already on the PS4. I may play that also on an emulator, though. I just have a feeling 9 would look better on something like this with the CRTV overlay. So I'm going to play 8 the way I have it, but I'm probably going to play 9 and 10 on the PC. And then I think I'm going to dabble with 11. I'll probably sub for like a month or two. I just want to try it out. I want to know what, I'll never be able to recreate playing it back in the day, but I feel weird not playing it as I'm moving through the series. I'm going to try it out just for the heck of it. And then 13, I actually have on PS3 already, although it would probably be much better on Steam. 12, I don't own at all. Now that's another one I'm curious about. 12 got a remake recently. I'm curious. You seem to have a lot of knowledge about the different versions. Is 12 Zodiac Age superior to the original 12? All right. We're going to talk about 13. 13 seems extremely divisive. Unbelievably divisive. Did you play 13 on in English or did you play in German? I'm curious because I have a thought that it seems like the English dub of 13. It seems like people have issues with the story and the way that it's localized. So I'm curious if that played a role for you at all. Favorite PS3 game? Man, that's awesome. I also heard that 13 is when they introduced the stagger gauge. Is that true? Or at least the concept of trying to stagger the enemies and build them up for a damage phase, which I love that in 7. So if that's from 13, I could be all about that. And if you love 13, did you play 13-2 and Lightning Returns? Or did you just kind of cut it off at the OG? I watched some gameplay of Lightning Returns. I don't know anything about that game, but that UI is insane. That game has a crazy UI. No German dub. Really, it's the first one to have a German dub. Is Final Fantasy VII, but it sucks. I imported remake from our place. Nice. That is, man, that sucks because when something does get dubbed, it's probably very exciting and then it doesn't work out. That's a bummer. Yeah, I feel like your English is pretty good too. I think that it's worth playing that game in English. It's great. Okay, so this time I'm gonna go ahead and not die the same way I did. Let's charge up here. Oh no. Alright, sprint through. Are games expensive to import when you have to import them? Okay, this time I need to sprint on through. Even the people on GameFAQs agree that the English voices are better than the Japanese in the 7 remake. Yo, I didn't one time think at all that I would change the dub to the Japanese. It is just phenomenal. The voice acting is great. I mean, the production quality. Wow. What? That just blew my mind. What did I just see? That is a game changer. Hold up. There are so many rooms that had things I needed to run faster. Yo, I just got so excited for the first time. That's the first really cool upgrade I've had in a minute. Wait. Can you sprint across gaps? Is there a thing? should go save. What am I doing? Got a good deal. It's only $70. Nice. But otherwise, you would be right. $70 ain't bad for a new game. I mean, it's bad in America because they're 60, but I mean, if you're importing, that's great. That's awesome. I've heard like in Australia, it can get insanely expensive sometimes, which is a real shame. Okay. Let's take a look at this map after I grab that. I just got. Not the normal edition deluxe. Oh. That's a really great deal. That's 1-to-1. Okay, so on the far right there, I got my thing. Sprinted back over. I think I'm done in this area. There might be hidden things, but I think that was the main thing I needed. So the real question is, how do I get back? Because I don't have the monkey bar thing yet. It unlocks 2 hidden abilities. Hold on. Is it I can roll faster? I wonder what they would be. This game has so much depth. I think this is my next move. Let's go back here. I hate the enemies you can't kill. How many bosses are in this game? 12, 14. And yeah, I'd still love to hear what you loved so much about Final Fantasy 13 if I missed it. I thought that was really cool that that was your favorite PS3 game. Okay, the hidden abilities can only be activated when you're in the speedrunning phase. Okay. I guess that makes sense. I was wondering if it makes me roll fast as a ball or something. Okay. Oop, not gonna happen. All right, let's go. We're gonna come back in here. We're gonna go, man, coming full circle. Gonna save. And now I have what I need to run at high speed to this one thing that I remember. All right. I smell a boss coming. I smell a boss coming. AOI, I got a question for you. Do you believe in conspiracy theories? Any conspiracy theories? Anyone at all? The reason I ask is my wife and I have started watching a show called Conspiracy, and it's so cool. Oh, man, I didn't go fast enough. And it's a British show, I think, actually. It's dumb. It's kind of stupid, but it just... I've been thinking about conspiracies lately. She wants to watch some more of that show tonight. I like the soundtrack for 13. Same composer as 10. Besides Nobuo Uematsu. Whatever. 13 has a cool scene. where I thought, no way they're gonna do that. Like the battle system. 7 remake has copied something from the battle system of 13. Did they copy the stagger gauge? Is that the thing they copied? Those are great reasons. I like that they're different reasons. It's like multiple. It's like you like the music. Zach said that there's something in 10 or something to do with the composer that helped on 10 did some music in 7 remake, which made me really interested because there's some music I love in the 7 remake that sounds different than like normal Final Fantasy music. Yes, staggering. I love the staggering 13. Okay, so if I'm into the staggering from 7, then I'm probably going to dig 13, it sounds like, because that was like my favorite thing was building up the stagger gauge and then having an awesome damage phase. I love that so much. See, here's the thing where I'm almost at is I've played so much of the old school ones that part of me feels like even though I like playing them in order, after I finish 8, like I'd like to jump forward to one of these newer ones like 13. Like it got stale playing old ones only all the time. Can I shoot that thing? Oh, I can stand on that thing, I bet. Well, talk about how to flush everything down the toilet. 13 has more staggering and better implemented. Wow, that's cool. I'm missing something here with this. I don't think I have the needed rocket. I've seen yellow rockets. I don't think I have what I need for this room. And I burned all my energy. Everything I had, I gave to that room. Oh my lord. Oh, I'm shooting rockets. I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing I just did. Oh. Shoot. Ice beam. Can you turn these things off and on? Great. Said don't die now. I will do my best. I have no health. Man, talk about pressure on, man. I should be able to farm some goodies now. Oh, buddy. I don't think I have to go far. I just have to go further than this literal room. I think I already know what I'm going to do with these things. Favorite conspiracies sources are David Icke and Project Camelot. Never heard of that. What's that? Project Camelot. That sounds pretty sweet. I don't know what that is. no. Oh my god, I got out of that so last minute. Is this one that I can stand on? No. Yeah, that was very close. You're right. The thing that where I almost died, it was extremely close. Frick. All right. I didn't have to go very far. All right. We're going to get to another boss. We got this. What is Project Camelot? It sounds really nuts. It sounds very interesting. It feels like I'm further away than I am because it's a new door, but I know that I don't actually have to go that far to get back. Oh, I forgot to sprint. This sprint is the coolest friggin' thing. Alright. The problem that happened earlier also is I drained way too much of my health in that room. So, sounded like you said, I don't remember if you said 12 and 13, if there's any preference on where to play those ones. I was thinking 12, I would probably buy the new one. I think that they made some pretty good upgrades. And 13, I'm trying to think, I could hook up my PS4 to this setup. That might be a good way of doing it. They interview all kinds of people. Haven't played 12 yourself. That's interesting. 12 seems like kind of not a black sheep, but like a lot of people pass it up and don't bother because it's very different. I really didn't realize how different it was until recently. Like it doesn't even have a battle theme. I have not played Crisis Core, but I watched the cutscenes for Crisis Core recently because I was on such a Final Fantasy VII kick. And I was hearing something about somebody named Zach. And so I was like, I should probably check out what this is. That way, if it comes up, I'll know what it is. Boy, am I glad I did. Because, geez, does he come up in the remake, kind of. Which I feel mixed about. I mean, I'm cool with it, but it's interesting what they did. Like, I feel like my little brother, who has never played a Final Fantasy, I feel like this would be the perfect one for him to jump in with. The only caveat being, he's never played any of them, so he doesn't know, like, who some of these, like, references are. So. There we go. Awesome. So, I've not played Crisis Core. That's one I can emulate too, though. Is Crisis Core action? Like, is it like Final Fantasy VII style combat? Alright, I need to think. Where can I use this ice beam? Oh. I think I know. I think I know exactly what I need to do. Oh, not that. Did you play Crisis Core? Is that one good? The cutscenes looked goofy, but they looked fun. I'm not sure I'm too into like fleshing out the backstory of 7 that way. But it looks like it has its moments. I always thought these guys looked like guys we could platform on, so it makes sense that you can. I knew this is what I needed to do. This is really good level design right here. And then, yep, you can jump right here. And you can jump right here. I can't believe I was trying to climb this room without any of the requisite things I needed. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Oh, dang it. There we go. Ooh. I've been trying to get out of this hole forever, man. Oh. Now I need to go back and see. Can I go up above? Yeah, I probably couldn't jump up here before. Save point though? Trying to give me a save point though? Ooh. Some of this reminds me of Hollow Knight, man. Just like the bugs and the... Y'all don't come here for the platforming, I can tell you that much. As you study religion, have you ever heard of the theory that light at the end of the tunnel that people talk about is just a trap to keep us reincarnating back to this place and escaping? That light is what Buddhist monks talk about when they want to escape the cycle. Studied. Yes, played twice through Crisis Core. I've never heard that exact version. I have kind of, you know, that is a thing of when there is a belief in reincarnation, there can be a belief of trying to break out of that, which is interesting. Wow. Definitely interesting. I don't know. The light is like a societal, or I guess it's kind of a human thing. I just always found it corny. Like, people say they see it. I mean, one day I'll see it probably and think, well, this ain't so corny anymore. This is pretty freaking scary. But whenever people start talking about the light, like, even as someone that's kind of interested in that stuff, I just got eaten. Oh, get me out of here. I don't know. I just got always... That is an interesting thought, though. That could be how that works. Do you believe in the light? It's like a Guardian or like a Destiny reference. I had not heard of that, though. It's interesting to think about. I wonder, like, what... Here's the part of, like, religion that is really interesting to me is, like, how would somebody get to that conclusion? Like, what line of thinking led them to think that it could be a trap? Like, that's interesting to me. Like, reverse engineering the religious belief, basically. Like, why? What would cause someone to think that that's what it is? Because we can't observe the light. We can't really have any information. So what is it that they are experiencing or thinking through? Yeah. That they would think that that's a trap. That's why, yeah. We're on the same wavelength. I find it really interesting on that level. So, it's interesting. And then you played it twice. Well, dang, man, you must have liked it then. Maybe that's one I should play. And when I watched the cutscenes, I didn't watch all the cutscenes. It was more like a story recap. It didn't say a whole lot about what happened with the combat. I just want more of that world, though. It might be worth playing that game just to get more of that world. All right. I can't help but think that we are coming up on some kind of boss. Well, that is what they call a dead end. All right. I got about 10 minutes left in me. I've hit a dead end. Unless that's what you shoot with ice. All right. I'm going to go back down. Watch the podcast with Joe Rogan and Bob Lazar. I've watched Joe Rogan many times. I have not seen the one with Bob Lazar. No. I don't know who Bob Lazar is, actually. Never heard of him. Was that a recent one, or was that more dating back? One of his more old school ones. Been in here 10 months ago. Remind me who Bob Lazar is. I might recognize the yikes. I might recognize if you start to talk through what his thing is. Powerbomb. That interview was the reason for Raid Area 51. Yo, now you're speaking my language, man. I don't know anything about Bob Lazar, but if he prompted the invade Area 51 meme, I'm all about it. Was he indicating that there's something there, and then people were saying they were going to raid it? Or was he more just approaching it from like a meme standpoint of wouldn't it be funny if people did that? All right, I am not sure what a power bomb does. Is that something I know what a power bomb does. It's the yellow one, I bet. right? Please tell me it's the yellow one. How do I use the power bomb? Oh, it's a part of the morphing ball? Yes! Let's go. I should go save. Oh, man. This game's great. So here's where I'm at. I think I may do a cleanup one of this on like Saturday and just do a long stream. I may do it casually here and there. It won't be scheduled per se. Just be on the lookout for Saturday stuff. But I feel like I should start kind of wrapping up my thoughts on this game. Even though I'll keep playing it, but I think next Tuesday I'll bring a new game in. This game's rad. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's a classic. It's a very, I would call it moody, atmospheric, very memorable. I do think I will still stand by the thought that this isn't the power room. Where's the yellow door that I just broke open? I don't know that I would just yet say it's a perfect game. Although, what does perfect really mean? It's got a couple warts. I feel like I get confused sometimes where to go, and then I realize, oh, yeah, there's no way I could have possibly known that that's where I needed to go. I just had to shoot around the room until something opened that isn't visually indicated that it will open. It's my only gripe. My literal only gripe for this whole game. And that's not a terrible gripe at the end of the day. It's more of like a little annoyance. But the bosses are cool. The music's awesome. Man, it's so satisfying getting a power-up. I still think that this game has something on stuff like Hollow Knight, where it takes so long to get those. It takes so long to get those initial power-ups in that game. Whereas this one, like right out the gate, you're getting nice stuff. Oh. That's where I came from. Oh, so the yellow door wasn't there before. It was literally just there to, like, remind me how it would work. Or to, like, prompt me to use it. Okay. I'm following you now. Dude, I just want to get up this elevator, for goodness sake. That was not a great move. Alright, so candidates for next week are Tony Hawk Underground. I said Final Fantasy 1. I don't know. Maybe. That could be a cool one. I feel like I want to play Tony Hawk Underground. I'm really leaning that way. Unless something else comes up that sounds much more fun. Bob Lazer's man who claims he worked at Area 51 on UFOs back in the day. I didn't believe a word of what he said, but over the years more and more things came out that came true. I believe him now. Rogan mentioned that more of the things come out now of what he already talked about back in the day. Example, please. I'm going to check that out because that sounds absolutely awesome. But I'd love to hear an example of something he said that came true. Dang it, I messed up. This is where I need to get it right underneath. Here's my chance. You have got to be kidding me with this crap. I didn't play 2D games growing up, and boy, does it show. I am terrible at some of these games. Alright. Let's go back through this hell room. I should have known when I was going through this room that I had been through it before, because it is hell on earth. Alright. Go up this elevator. We're nearing the home stretch here. I got a feeling there'll be a boss right on the other side. Let's save real quick. But yeah, I would say this game lives up to the hype. This game is well worth a playthrough in 2020. I don't see this being a game that will ever be aged out, you know, so to speak. It's a good one. This is one of the great ones. What the frick? How do I make the ball go up? Oh. Oh, I don't have any. Oh. The freak? How do I get more of those power bombs? This is bad. This is real bad. This is all I need. Hey April, how's it going? We are hanging out playing some Super Metroid, and I am doing my best to find some power bombs. There's one. Awesome. Awesome. I heard that you're very close to making... I think you made Twitch partner. Tell us what you did. You said that you hit a big milestone I saw, and that's so cool. I know you've been streaming a ton. Element 115 would probably be the biggest thing. It didn't exist back in the day, and he said it's essential for making them fly, UFOs fly. Nobody in the science community believed him. Well, some years ago, Element 115 got discovered. Wow. That's actually pretty amazing. April, do you know your game says Final Fantasy VII Remake? Yes, that is because, and I will have to talk to Zach Pike about this, I'm technically hosting the Dweebo channel, and the Dweebo channel is the one that's streaming, and then my channel's hosting that. And basically the Dweebo channel, he was playing Final Fantasy VII last, and I can stream to it through Restream, but I can't. I don't know how to get it to be a different game because I'm not signed in. Yeah, no, it is. So it is what it is. It's fine. We'll be working through some of those kinks. But yeah, I appreciate the heads up. But if anybody was here to see Final Fantasy VII, this is not that game. But this game is good too. Although oddly enough, we did talk about Final Fantasy VII like a lot during this stream. April, did you ever end up playing that? I know you talked that you might want to check it out. Am I in a new location? Criteria. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hey. I'm back at the beginning of the game. You know what? I can't imagine a better note to end this mini-series on Super Metroid on. I was going to try to end it on a boss. We'll see if there's one right here. But if not, this game brought me full circle back to the beginning. I'm not done yet. April said, I'm close to being affiliate. I have 50 followers, but not an average of 3 viewers. But it's close. I started playing it, but still haven't picked it up. Stopped. Haven't picked it back up. It's a great game. It's a really great game. I think that when you find the time for it, you'll have a blast with it. I just finished it the other day, and I gotta be honest, it's probably my favorite Final Fantasy right now. I don't know, it's probably between that and Final Fantasy IV, and they both have pretty phenomenal elements to them. And congratulations on being close to affiliate. That's really great. I should have seen that coming. I'm gonna go ahead and say I can't make that jump. This underwater scene is something. Can I jump on top of this? Can I jump on top of these coral things? No. Alright. If I can't do anything else in this room, I'm going to test one more thing. Yep, there's got to be some kind of attachment or something for this room. Alright, I'm going to go back to the ship. I probably can't go back to the ship. I don't have the yellow thing I need. AOI, what you said about Element 115 is pretty rad. That sounds crazy. I'm going to go ahead and take the plunge jumping over to where the ship is. And the reason is because I don't think that the game would lead me to this section and like play this triumphant music if there wasn't going to be a reason for me to jump over to the ship. Wow, this is a struggle. Watch that episode, Travis. I am going to. David. On my ship. Heal me up. Beam me up. Yes, I'd like to save. All right. Guys, thank you for joining. This has been a great 2-part series. Next week, I think we're going to be streaming. I'll put up maybe a poll on the Twitter. I might think if there's anything else I've been wanting to play that I'm just not thinking about this moment. I'm leaning towards Tony Hawk Underground. Or I may dabble with Final Fantasy 1. But I think I'd rather do Tony Hawk because That's one I don't feel like I'm gonna feel the need to play all the way through because I've finished it before, Underground. So let's plan on Tony Hawk Underground next Tuesday. Depending on my time availability on Saturday, I may stream some more of this, or I may finish it on my own time. We'll just see. But if you're watching on Twitch, Dweebo, thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, Dweebo, thank you. If you're watching on where I've hosted this stream on my channel, definitely thank you. My Twitch is SlytheGG. If you don't follow me already, follow me there. If I do stream this some more and I don't do it on Saturday, because we try to keep the channel for YouTube only open certain times, I may just stream this on my own channel, Slythe, and it wouldn't even be a Time Machine episode. It would just be on my own channel. So check it out. I stream Dead by Daylight, Destiny 2. I'll be streaming some Call of Duty Warzone, different things. So SlytheGG if you want to check that out. And other than that, I appreciate it. AOI, you said Tony Hawk will attract some people because of the hype. You're probably right. You're probably right. So Tony Hawk Underground next week. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Have a good one.